We are now joined by Indiana head coach Teri Moren. Coach, welcome to March Madness.
Thank you.
If you could make an opening statement, then we'll go straight to questions.
Well, good morning. It's the best time of the year for all of us that love this game so much, and it's been a long 10 or 11 days for us after the Big Ten tournament, but it's been a good 10 or 11 days for us just to kind of catch our breath, get some rest both mentally and physically. But we are beyond excited to get out there today, but even more so for the 11:30 tip time tomorrow against a really good Tennessee Tech team that played extremely well last night. And Kim and her staff are doing a great job, and so it was fun to watch both teams, Monmouth and Tennessee Tech, compete last night.
Thanks, Coach. We will start on Zoom. Rachel will take 2 questions.
Great. Hi, Coach. Can you hear me?
Yes. Good morning.
Great. Morning. Rachel Bachman of the Wall Street Journal. Coach, you got to Indiana not long after Cook Hall opened, and there have been facilities upgrades since then to Assembly Hall. And, of course, your locker room there with the donation from Sandy Eskenazi. How much did those upgrades, which really seem to put the women's program on equal footing with the men's, influence your decision to go to Indiana and stay there?
Well, this is the first year, first season that we've been in our new locker room. And so, it's been something that we've wanted for some time. And it just so happened that Sandy Eskenazi stepped up, amongst others, donors, and, wanted to provide us with a space for our players, during the game, and also from a recruiting standpoint. When we are recruiting against some of the best teams in the country, facilities do matter. And, it's a space where our kids obviously we're very proud of it. It doesn't happen without the help of a lot of people, including our people here in Indiana that have to track down those that want to support women's basketball in this kind of a way. So, we're extremely pleased with how it turned out, and we're very fortunate and also blessed with the space that we do have.
Rachel, do you have one more?
Yeah, do you feel like women's basketball for quite a long time in Indiana has really been overshadowed by men's basketball? Do you feel like you're on more equal footing now in terms of facilities? And I know one of the emphases on Cook Hall was that the facilities be equal for men and women.
Yeah, no doubt. When the Cook family, when they decided, and this was long before I was here, in Indiana, decided to build Cook Hall, you're exactly right. They wanted to make it identical in terms of the space. So what the suite looks like on the men's side mirrors what we have on our side. We don't share a practice facility court per se. We have our own. The men have their own, but certainly. When you work as closely as we do with our men's staff, you learn to share that facility because it's so great and it's utilized by both programs. But when we arrived here 9 years ago, one of the goals was, I grew up in southern Indiana, so I understand the tradition that's always been on the men's side because I grew up watching it. But one of our first, goals that we had for this program was, yes, there's tradition on the men's side, but we really felt confident that we could build the tradition on the women's side as well. And so our hope now is that when people speak of Indiana basketball, it's no longer exclusive just to men's basketball. And they're talking about, yes, men's basketball is, they have the banners, but there's also a women's basketball team that is quite talented and skilled and has been able to sustain success over the last 4 to 5 years. And so, I don't really get caught up in the comparables as the two. I think when you're at an institution like Indiana, you have to be a fan for all your sports, whether it's football, whether it's men's basketball, because let's be honest. I mean, if they do well, in the institution, all the athletic department, does well. And so I keep that in perspective as much as I can. But we just try to do what we do, and we're a part of a great athletic department here. We're certainly proud of what we've been able to accomplish, but, we want our own banner. We want a banner that hangs up in Simon Scott Assembly Hall that's just for women's basketball.
We'll move to questions from the room. Just a reminder, raise your hand, we'll get you a mic. Please state your name and affiliation.
Hi, Terry. Mike Merritt from Associated Press. I'm curious. I've got two questions. I'll put a pause in between them. The first one is, you mentioned that I believe you've only played 3 games since February 19th. I'm curious, from a coaching standpoint, what do you do to try and prevent the team from getting stale over that point? I don't even know if you've ever been through that kind of a stretch.
Well, I think one of the things that happens is, yes, the 3 games, but 2 of them have been losses for us. So it's given us great motivation to get back in practice and certainly figure out some of those things that we didn't do well enough, why we lost the game, and you try to shore up all of those things. But also, it's been a great time for us to rest. The Big Ten has been incredible this season, top to bottom. We had doubles with everybody that's in the field this particular year. And so we had an incredibly difficult conference season. And so it's been, I don't know if it's a silver lining, but I think it's been good for us to be able to have some extra time off because of the schedule we've played. But you get inside of practice, there's plenty of things, trust me, that we can, there's no ceiling for this team that we can improve on. And we've tried to do, pick something, whether it's two or three things every day that are different, right? We're not doing the same thing in practice. And we also have a tremendous practice squad that's super competitive. This is the best practice squad we've had. So they've made it not just entertaining, but also very competitive for our kids in practice.
Second question is about, you've been around this program now for a while. You've watched the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. Why do you think that the Big Ten took the jump that it did this year?
Well, I think, again, as much as we hated COVID, it did give us an extra year for some of these top talented kids, including us. Grace Berger, obviously being able to come back and, have her COVID year. And I think you see that on almost all of the Big Ten, teams, whether, they were seniors, but they got that extra year, so they came back. Look, this is a conference that is so talented, not only in players, but in the coaches and their coaching staffs. It's been incredible, and really fortunate and appreciate the opportunity to be a part of it. But I attribute the COVID, but there's just talent. There is talent in this league. And we're going to see some of these kids. I'm hoping, including Grace Berger, that's going to be playing at the next level this summer, and representing, this league. And so, it's been a grueling Big Ten season for us. But I would suspect that we can all sit up here as head coaches and unequivocally say that the Big Ten season has prepared us for March, because of how difficult it's been.
How you doing, Coach?
Good.
Kevin Vera, the Hoosier Network. I know you just found out last night, but Tennessee Tech, they're winners of 8 straight. Mm-hmm. They're coming off an OVC tournament championship. Yeah. They're playing arguably their best basketball.
Right.
How do you coach a team that's kind of just going into March with, again, just some of their best basketball? Well,
you don't try to be or do anything different than, what we've done. Our recipe still has remained the same in terms of our practice, our preparation. The one thing that, has been different, we've never been in this scenario where, you're watching a play-in game and now you only have really 1 day to prep, but we have, all week have been, spreading out, workloads from our staff in terms of covering all the teams we're playing. And so, again, our kids weren't here last night, but they were watching on TV. Our staff was certainly here. But you're absolutely right. I mean, this is a hot team right now. They're not to be taken lightly. In my opinion, seeds are thrown out at this time of year. You just look around, watch TV, and you find out quickly whether you're watching men's basketball or women's basketball today when it starts, that seeds don't matter at this time of the year. It's you want your team, like you just mentioned, to be playing their best basketball, and it's obvious that Tennessee Tech right now is playing their best basketball.
Teri, hey, Pete DePremio, IU Athletics. Question on Chloe, and I know you've talked about her before, but the fact that she guards the toughest player for the opposing team each game, when did you notice that first ability? Like, as a freshman, you decide she's the one going to handle that?
Oh, I think, Pete, we just have watched her just get a little bit better every year. As a freshman, she came in, gosh, probably she weighed maybe a buck 15, and then you put her in, a program with Kevin, our strength and conditioning coach, who is phenomenal, and you just watch her body start to develop, and then, you watch her in practice, compete, and that's the thing with Chloe. I mean, she just has this toughness factor that doesn't show up always in the stat sheet. You just know how competitive she is. You watch her in practice. I do think it's something that she's really embraced. This is a team that always is looking for what each of them individually can do to help the team. Chloe understands that what we need her to do is be a great defender for us, and I think she's taken on that challenge, but she's also embraced it and has really thrived, in being able to do that for us. But I would say it's a combination of. Certainly when we brought her here, that's one of the reasons why we recruited her. We liked her length. We liked her, her athleticism. But you have to do the work, and you gotta want to take on the role that your coaches give you. And she is. She's done so much for us this season because, by the way, she has to guard the best offensive players, perimeter player, but then she has to turn around and come on the other end and run our basketball team. And when Grace Burkett was out, that was something that was new to her and different. And so we've just watched her transform into, such a steady but dependable. Gosh, she's such a dependable player, to have on our team.
Coach, good morning. Mason Williams with the Hoosier.com. I'm curious now that you guys have not been shy about saying that a national championship is a real possibility for you guys, something you guys have had eyes for this year. Now that you're in this tournament, you mentioned not being able to take a team lightly. How do you kind of keep a tunnel vision on your girls to make sure that you can't look past anybody?
Well, again, it's continuous conversation that you have with them. And look, these guys we're old. We're a veteran team. We're an experienced team. They realize that, this is a different kind of tournament. If you lose, you're done. Your season's over. And if that doesn't give you a sense of urgency, I don't know what does, right? And so we don't try to magnify it because I want them playing with joy and freedom and fun. So you try to take the pressure off of them and just remind them, let's just go out and be who we've been all year and do what we've been able to do all year without the pressure, because that's the last thing, the very last thing that I want these guys thinking about. I want them going out and playing with total freedom and enjoy come tomorrow.
Seth Tauter with the Daily Hoosier. You guys have spent most of the season as one of the top teams in the country. I guess, how have you managed those expectations? It's one thing to say things like you've never arrived, but how do you get them to believe it and buy into that for 3 or 4 months?
You just remind them of who we are. We're still the blue collar team, the program that has continued to seek and search for respect. But the reason why we're here is because of what we've been able to do that nobody sees. right? And that's the work. That's also the sacrifices that this group has had to make as individuals. You know, we asked them to do that at the beginning of the year because we knew that, you know, the new guys that we brought in were all starters at their other institutions. And so this idea of being able to gel and the chemistry and all that coming together takes a sacrifice from all those kids. You gotta leave your ego at the door, and you know, all of us have to do what's best for the team, and that could be coming off the bench, that could be playing 30 minutes, it could be playing 4 minutes. But it's a constant reminder of you know, the grittiness and the toughness and the blue collar attitude that we've always tried to remind them that we play with. You know, that's been who we've been since we've been here, and I don't think that winning should change that.
Great. Thank you for your time, Coach.
Yep, you guys are welcome.
Best of luck.